Welcome back to Reedhead Homestead. Welcome back to our channel. I wanted to fill you guys in on how to paint your concrete floors. We painted our concrete floors in our entire house, all besides the laundry room, this powder bath, and our 2 other bathrooms in our house. Those are the only spots that we didn't paint. This we knew would be a later project, so we saved it for this time, and now's the time. So I just wanted to show you guys how we did it, what we used, what steps did we skip, what do we absolutely recommend that you need to do, and so on and so forth. The first step that we did, we removed the baseboards, pulled up the vinyl, and then worked on getting all of the adhesive off the floor. That's the most important step. Whatever type of flooring you have, you wanna make sure that your area is totally clean to begin with when you start this process. Kind of where I'm at now in the process. Everything is cleaned. I do have this Hoover FloorMate floor cleaner. I wouldn't say that that is absolutely crucial recommended because there were areas in our house before we started using this thing that you just need to mop the floor multiple times in order to make sure that it's totally clean. Depending on your surface, according to the directions on this product, you may need to etch the surface as well. That's something that we chose not to do, but we chose not to do it and it's held up totally fine. We did get a recommendation from a guy that had told us that if you don't get all of that product up, then you could run into problems with your paint down the line. So we chose not to do it and did use a primer. We used 2 coats of paint and 2 coats of sealer, and we haven't had any problems in our house. So that's the way we're gonna be doing it here. I am gonna start by cleaning the floors with some TSP. This one is fine if you get it in the box, or I've used the liquid form, both are fine. This you just dilute in some water, mop the floors, and then I am just gonna go back over it with my FloorMate. Just because the reason I like this is because it's spitting out water and it's getting up the water, and that's really hard to do with just a mop. You know, like I said, I did it and I mopped the floor probably like 3 or 4 times, whereas this I can pretty much go over it one time and then we're good to go. So, love that. I'm gonna wait for the floors to dry for, I think you're probably supposed to wait 24 hours. I'm probably just gonna wait a few hours until I can just see that it's totally dry. And then I will go in with the primer, and I believe if I remember correctly, yeah, the dry time is 2 hours. I probably will wait an hour. Once I'm done with that, then I can go in with the paint. Now this is the critical part that you do wanna wait the full time. You know, we live in Arizona, so I definitely kind of bend the rules a little bit when it comes to painting, as far as, you know, sometimes temperature and dry times and this and that, because it's so dry here that stuff dries pretty darn quick. It's 1 hour is dry to touch, 4 to 6 hours for recoat. So you get that first coat on, and then you are going to wait 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours depending on the temperature. For us it was 4 hours, and I did the second coat and it was totally fine. And then after another 4 to 6 hours, then you can go in with your sealer. And the sealer, the hard thing about the sealer is that you do have to wait. It's 24 hours for light foot traffic, which is fine. And it is 72 hours before you can actually put any of your furniture back in place. I did make sure before we started this project that I got all of our laundry done, because I knew we were gonna be without a washer and dryer for quite a few days. So that is done, and everything can cure in here before we get those back in. So that is where I'm at in the process. I will show you guys the full steps of how I do this, what I'm using to apply each of these products, because they each have their own set of instructions for applying them, and I do think that's very critical. Applying them properly, using the right products to apply them, definitely makes a difference in your final result. So I'm gonna get to it. First, like I said, I'm gonna start with just TSPing the floors and cleaning them really good, and then I will wait for those to dry. So I'm gonna show you that, and then I will talk to you guys in just a little bit. Okay, so floors are totally clean, and now they're totally dry, so I'm ready to get painting. The best part, I love this part. I'm gonna be using this Behr Premium Concrete and Masonry Bonding Primer. And you can use this, it says it's interior and exterior, And this stuff is great. The only thing you wanna do is just make sure that you apply it with a really thin coat. Make sure you do get the whole area. If you can cross roll, which I will show you guys how to do that in your space. Absolutely, I recommend that. That way you just ensure that you have covered the entire area. And also, I'm gonna be applying this with a 1/4 inch nap. And I've got an extension pole on here. And then I just have a regular paint tray. So, I'm just going to put a little bit of this in here, roll it out, get this coated really nicely, and work my way, and I'm gonna cross roll each section. So when you cross roll, you're gonna go this way, and then you're gonna go this way, you know, so that way you ensure that you're kind of locking the paint together, and that's kind of how you wanna paint the floors the entire time that you do this, if you can. If you go this way, maybe the next coat, go the other way if you can. So I've got a small space here, so I'm definitely gonna try to do my best. I'm just gonna wait about an hour for it to dry. When it's dry to touch, then I can go ahead and get the paint on it. So let's get started. Okay, so now that we are all primed, definitely be wearing your socks or bare feet for this portion of the project. I am going to go ahead and get started with painting. I probably waited about an hour and a half. I got kind of sidetracked working on another thing out in the garage. But I waited about an hour and a half and they're totally dry and they feel good. So next up, I'm going to start painting. I'm using the Bare Premium Porch and Patio Floor Paint. I did, this starts with a ultra pure white, and then I had it tinted to the shade that I wanted. And the color that I have used, the rest of our house, which I love, has been ashen tan. It's kind of a really, really, really light tan color. I've been really happy with that. So I'm gonna do that in here as well. I'm gonna be using a 3/8 inch nap roller. I'm going to go all the way around the edges of the room first with my paintbrush. Okay, let's get started. Are these floors looking? I just love the difference. I let this cure overnight, so this morning I am ready to get it sealed. And I'm gonna do 2 coats of sealer. I'm gonna be using this concrete brick and tile low luster sealer. This is also a Bare product. I like this. It's not super shiny, but I will tell you it is super slick. So, you know, our whole house is sealed with this. There is an additive that you can buy that would give you a little bit of grip that you could mix in with this product, so that way it's not so slick. I chose not to do that, and so our floors are very, very slick. So just kind of be aware of that. If you are gonna do this, be careful when you walk on them. It does take a little bit of getting used to. It is gonna be, I'm gonna apply 1 coat of this. I'm using a 1/4 inch nap roller. It is dry to touch in an hour, and then 4 hours for recoat time. So later this afternoon, I will do another coat of this, and then you're good, and then you're all done. Let me show you guys that process, and then at the end of this video, stick around. We are gonna do a little Q&A for you guys and answer some questions that you might have. We wanted to answer the questions that we had when we were looking at doing this, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I wanted to try to show you guys. You don't have to work super fast with this product, but definitely, you know, don't let it sit if I can. How you don't want to leave it. See how you've got this kind of little puddle here? If you have lines like that or a puddle like that, you definitely cannot leave it. This, you know, self-levels pretty well, but you don't want to leave any of the milky streaks or anything like that as you're going along. You just want to make sure that everything is really smoothed out. You are going to see some of your lines from where your roller was, but that will kind of settle, especially with your second coat. That will all go away, but you definitely just don't want to leave. It's kind of like a milky consistency, so you don't want to leave any of the milky consistency lines. If you guys are doing this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Try to get it as smooth as you can. Hey you guys, okay, we wanted to end this video by telling you all the ins and outs of having concrete floors. We had a lot of questions when before we started this project, and we just couldn't find the answers. So now that we kind of jumped head first, we feel like we would have the answers to all the questions that you might be asking yourself about if you want to do this project, how to do it, how much time does it take, all that good stuff. We just thought we would, I have notes here, thought we would write down a few questions that we had before we started. So the first question was reason.
Like why paint the concrete?
What's the point? Yeah.
Why didn't you do snap-in flooring or laminate or carpet or tile? Yeah. I personally would love to keep the concrete forever, but the main thing there is that at first the house was just covered in carpet.
Yeah.
And from the 1980s, and it was just terrible.
It was so bad. It was so bad, guys.
So bad.
It was horrible.
And a couple of quotes, because we were thinking about grinding down and layering it, so you know more about that.
Yeah, we did have a professional come out and give us a quote on how much it would be to do the floors, and they were going to do like a trowel method to the floors that was supposed to be something that's pretty lifetime guaranteed, and that was going to be $10,000. And I just felt like, okay, for not being our forever floor that I was absolutely in love with, I thought, why put the money towards something like that? So that's kind of what moved us into the idea of, okay, let's paint the concrete. To me, it's a temporary solution because it just gives our house an even feel throughout.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have it your way, we'll keep it forever.
We know no matter what flooring we were going to do, we wanted to get the entire house seamless, because our old house had the same flooring throughout the entire house.
We loved it.
And we loved it. It had all symmetrical flooring. And find a project that was low on cost, that we could do in portions, so we didn't have to do it all at once. We could do it room by room. We could move stuff from that room into another room, complete everything, let it dry, and then start stacking things, was just, it was paramount to the situation.
So it worked out in our favor, because then we were able to go room by room by room, work our way around the house, and
still be able to live in the house.
Yeah, we lived in the house.
Still did our job.
We slept in the dining room for a week or so.
I think that was 2 weeks.
Yeah,
slept in the dining room.
Yeah,
which was an interesting. It's like living in the apartment again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was an intense process. The reason it was so intense is because we had carpet everywhere. We had tack strip holes all around the entire perimeter of our house.
Yeah.
And so we had to patch all of those holes and sand them all down to get them smooth and ready to be painted. And then we also just had, our floors were not in great shape. So we had a lot of prep work.
Adhesive
and a lot of
linoleum, carpet.
It was a lot. Yeah, it took us an entire month. During the week, as we were kind of waiting for the floors to dry, once a portion of the house was dry, then we could relocate the furniture from the next room that we were going to do into that room. So basically we moved our entire house twice in the process of doing the floors. So would we do it again?
Yeah, I love it, because you know what?
Definitely.
It is such a durable floor.
Yeah.
And it feels so clean, and it doesn't take a lot to clean it. It's what? Because you can't use a harsh bleach on it.
No.
So we use Dawn and water.
Dawn and water.
I should say she uses Dawn and water. I'm not as on top of it as she is, but she uses Dawn and water, and you just dry vacuum a whole bunch of it, and it cleans up everything. Yeah. Nothing sticks to the floor.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
But it hides a lot of stuff really well.
Absolutely, it hides a lot. And that's one thing I wanted to touch on with you guys, is picking a paint color. Because how long did it take me to pick a paint color?
Our house looked like a quilt for a while, because it was so many different patch colors all over the house, and in different shades, because the lighting of your house will affect how the color looks. In our kitchen, at 5 p.m. at night, when the sun's coming down and the lights are coming on in the kitchen, it looks pink.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's ashen tan. It's a tan color. And then there's other times where it's the first light of day and it looks stark glacier white. Absolutely, I would agree. And I picked out so many samples and I put them all over the house. It's worth it to spend $10 in 12 different samples to find the color that you love. Yes, because you're gonna look at it every day. Yeah. I spent probably a good, I'd say, month and a half, 2 months almost, before we even painted the floors, of putting samples on the floor, looking at the samples for a week,
and deciding, okay, this was right, this was not right. So I think I probably went through 6 or 7 samples.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really took my time and absolutely love the color that we chose. I do think going lighter, our floors are very light, I do think going lighter versus darker happened to work out in our favor because it does hide a lot.
It really
so
does.
With the dog hair and stuff like that, it actually does hide a lot. I do think that the scratches, any scratches that I know are there, he doesn't know, but I know.
Can't see them.
Any scratches that are there, you don't see them because the floor is lighter. I don't know how that would be if you chose
darker,
really, really dark gray or something like that.
I would say that
I think you might see them.
Well, I should say ashen tan. Ashen tan.
Ashen tan has been awesome. Yes.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah.
So what was the total cost? Because I don't check the receipts. When Kylie says I need something, I just say, okay, well, whatever. Let's just go get it.
So it was. Because I didn't add up my receipts, but I do know it was less than $1,000. So I'm gonna say $1,000
to do 2,000 square feet.
Just about, yeah. Just because we didn't do our bathrooms. Your more expensive part is needing your rollers. Another question I was getting from you guys is how long did the entryway take me? 11 hours.
Yeah, and it took her 11 hours, but you know
did.
what? It looks fan-flippin-tastic.
It added so much character to the space.
So great.
Although it was my test area, I thought, okay, if this is gonna go good, then I would love to do the kitchen or do the laundry room or do something else using, and get it stenciled. But after 11 hours on my hands and knees,
yeah,
I was thankful for it to be over with.
Yeah.
And so, will I stencil other parts of our house? No. Am I happy I did that? Would I do it again? Yes. But am I gonna keep doing it? No. It was lower. It was a lot, but it is totally cute and I love it. So it was worth it. Overall, so I think, what would you rate it? What would you rate the floors?
I rate them a 10 out of 10, and here's the reason why. Because there is nothing that you can do that would look the same or better for the price and how little effort it took.
Absolutely.
It may take a very guided hand and precise doing, but overall it was not something that's not doable. Like you can have anybody who's never painted before paint and roll the floor.
Absolutely.
You could even do it wrong and it would still turn out fantastic.
Yeah. I think 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Absolutely. Would do it again?
I would do it in rental properties.
Totally.
I would do it in large commercial areas if you have a cheap husband but a very hardworking wife. That's exactly how it will work out. It'll work perfectly.
This is the perfect selection.
If you champagne taste.
Champagne taste on a beer budget, people. Okay? That's right. That is so true. That is the epitome of these floors.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in with us, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope we answered some of the questions that you may have. And stick around because we've got a lot more coming for you guys. So we will talk to you really soon. Bye.